Commander Taejin Park rubbed his eyes and looked at the screen again. The numbers could not be right. He called to his science officer. Subin, check these readings for me. Something must be wrong with our sensors. Subin glided across the bridge of the survey ship Horizon on her 4 tentacle-like limbs. As the ship's lead xenobiologist, she had studied thousands of planets, but never had she seen readings like these. The sensors are working perfectly, Commander. This is correct data. Her large eyes blinked slowly as she studied the screen. This planet should not have life. Not like this. The small blue planet turned slowly on the main view screen. Third, from its sun, mostly covered in water with swirling white clouds in its atmosphere. It looked peaceful from orbit, but the Horizon sensors told a different story. Oxygen at 21%? Taejin shook his head in disbelief. That's impossible. Oxygen is too reactive. It would corrode most metals. It's basically poison. And look at the temperature range, added Subin. From -40 to +50 degrees in the same regions, just in different seasons. Most species cannot survive such changes. The bridge crew of the Galactic Federation vessel continued to study the readings with growing amazement. They had been mapping this sector of space for the past 6 months. This system was not even on their priority list, just another unremarkable yellow star with planets. But their routine scan had detected radio signals, intelligent life. Radiation. Levels from their sun would kill most species in the Federation, said Taejin, scrolling through the data. And the gravity is much stronger than on most inhabited worlds. Commander, called Junho, the communications officer, I've decoded some of their transmissions. They call their planet Earth, and they call themselves humans. Humans, repeated Taejin, testing the strange word. What have you learned about them? They are at technological level 6. They've visited their moon, sent unmanned craft to nearby planets, and have a small orbital station. But they haven't developed faster-than-light travel. Taejin nodded. This was a typical finding, a young civilization on the brink of joining the wider galactic community. The Federation had protocols for such discoveries. They would make peaceful contact, share basic technology, and invite Earth to begin the long process of joining the Federation. What was not typical was for such a civilization to evolve on a planet that should, by all scientific understanding, be hostile to complex life. I'm going to report this to Federation Command, said Taejin. In the meantime, prepare a first contact team. We'll follow standard protocols. 3 days later, Commander Taejin sat nervously in the small landing craft as it descended through Earth's atmosphere. The craft shook violently as it pushed through layers of gases. Atmospheric entry is much more turbulent than expected, noted the pilot Mi-Ray. The storms in the upper atmosphere are powerful. Beside Taejin sat Subin and 2 other crew members, Junho for communications and Han-Jun, the security chief. All wore environmental suits that would protect them from Earth's harsh conditions. Remember, said Taejin, we make peaceful contact, explain who we are, and invite a small delegation to meet with Federation representatives. Nothing more. The landing craft touched down in a flat, empty area surrounded by mountains. This location had been chosen carefully, remote enough to avoid causing panic among the general human population, but accessible to their governmental authorities. Air composition is confirmed toxic, said Subin, checking her instruments. High oxygen, nitrogen, and various pollutants. Our suits will filter it. The team stepped out onto Earth's surface. The gravity pulled at them immediately, making their movements slower and more difficult. Taejin felt as if invisible hands were pushing down on his shoulders. The gravity is intense, said Han-Jun, adjusting his stance. Fighting in these conditions would be exhausting. Let's hope it doesn't come to that, replied Taejin. They didn't wait long. Soon a group of vehicles approached, raising dust from the dry ground. The vehicles stopped a safe distance away, and several figures emerged. They walked upright on 2 limbs, with 2 upper limbs hanging at their sides. Their bodies were mostly hairless, with concentrations of hair on the tops of their heads. They wore uniforms of blue and white. They looked so fragile, whispered Subin. Soft outer covering, no natural armor or claws. Yet they survived on this death world, replied Taejin. Don't underestimate them. One human stepped forward from the group, female based on their research of human biology. She had dark hair tied back and wore glasses over her eyes. I am Dr. Hana Kim, she said in clear, measured tones. I represent Earth's United Scientific Council. We detected your ship in orbit 3 days ago. Welcome to Earth. Junho activated the Universal Translator, which had been programmed with Earth languages from their intercepted broadcasts. I am Commander Taejin Park of the Galactic Federation survey vessel Horizon. Taejin replied, his words converted to the human language. We come in peace, seeking friendship between our peoples. Dr. Kim nodded. We are honored by your visit and open to friendship. What followed was a careful exchange of basic information. The humans were curious, but cautious. They asked questions about the Federation, about other worlds and species, about the technology that brought the visitors across the stars. Taejin was impressed by their calm acceptance of alien life. According to Federation records, many species reacted with fear or religious panic upon first contact. These humans seemed prepared. You don't seem surprised to meet aliens, Taejin noted. Dr. Kim smiled slightly. We have imagined this moment in our stories for centuries, and our scientists have long believed that in such a vast universe we cannot be alone. We are surprised, yes, but also ready. As the meeting continued, Subin discreetly took readings of the humans. Her eyes widened as she showed her datapad to Taejin. Commander, their body temperature is nearly 37 degrees, she whispered. They are walking furnaces, running hot enough to kill most microbes. And their cellular structure, it's incredibly resilient. After the initial exchange, Dr. Kim invited the Federation team to a more comfortable facility nearby. As they walked toward the vehicles, Taejin noticed Dr. Kim was not wearing any environmental protection. Dr. Kim, are you not concerned about contamination from us? He asked. Our doctors have suggested caution, she admitted. But our immune systems are quite robust. We fight off thousands of pathogens every day just by living on Earth. Taejin and Subin exchanged meaningful glances. This casual attitude toward potentially alien microbes was either reckless or a sign of remarkable biological defenses. Later that day, Taejin sent his report to Federation Command. The response came quickly. A diplomatic team would arrive within the week. In the meantime, Taejin was to learn as much as possible about these humans. In the Federation Council chamber, far across the galaxy, the report on Earth caused heated debate. A level 6 civilization from a death world? Said Junho, the head diplomat. This is unprecedented. Their biology alone could revolutionize our medicine. Or our weapons, countered Sumin, the military advisor. Any species that evolves on such a hostile planet will have survival instincts we cannot predict. They could be dangerous. All the more reason to establish peaceful relations now, argued Junho. Better to have them as friends than potential enemies. The council voted to proceed with diplomatic contact. A small human delegation would be invited to visit the Federation capital world, but Sumin ordered a separate classified report on human military capabilities. Just in case. Dr. Hana Kim had never imagined she would travel among the stars. Yet here she was, standing on the observation deck of a Federation transport ship, watching her home planet grow smaller. Earth was now just a blue dot against the blackness of space. It's beautiful from up here, said Captain Daehyun Cho, who stood beside her. As Earth's military liaison, he wore a simple blue uniform with small rank badges on the collar. It is, agreed Hana. But also dangerous. I'm beginning to understand why Commander Taejin's crew was so surprised by us. The Federation ship moved, faster than light, bending space in ways that human science had only dreamed about. Within days, they would reach the Federation capital world, Harmonium. The Earth delegation was small. Dr. Hana Kim, Captain Daehyun Cho, and 3 specialists in science, culture, and diplomacy. Commander Taejin Park traveled with them as their guide. You should prepare yourselves, Taejin told them as they gathered in the ship's meeting room. The gravity on Harmonium is only about 70% of Earth's, You will feel very light, and the air has less oxygen. You might feel dizzy at first. We've been training in simulated conditions, said Hana. We should adapt quickly. Taejin nodded but looked concerned. There's something else you should know. Many species in the Federation find humans unsettling. Why? Asked Daehyun. We're not very scary looking compared to some of your other allies. It's not your appearance, explained Taejin. It's your biology. You evolved on what we classify as a death world. Most sentient species come from much more gentle environments. The humans exchanged glances. They had never thought of Earth as particularly harsh. Just be patient with them, continued Taejin. They are eager to learn about Earth, but they may keep their distance at first. The Federation capital city was a marvel of architecture and technology. Tall buildings made of crystal-like materials caught the light of Harmonium's orange sun. Flying vehicles moved in orderly lines between the towers. Parks with plants of every color dotted the cityscape. The Earth delegation was given rooms in the diplomatic quarter. True to Taejin's warning, they found the lower gravity made them bounce with each step. They had to be careful not to jump too high or move too quickly. I feel like I could run forever here, said Daehyun after their first day, and lift twice as much weight. That's exactly what concerns some council members, said Taejin. Your natural strength here could be seen as threatening. The next morning, they were invited to tour the Science Academy. Federation scientists were eager to study the humans, their bones, muscles, immune systems, and especially their unusual ability to eat almost anything. You can digest how many different plants? Asked one scientist with 4 arms and green skin. Hundreds, replied Hana. Though some are poisonous, of course. Poisonous to you, maybe deadly to us, murmured the scientist, making notes. That evening, a reception was held to formally welcome the Earth delegation. The grand hall was filled with representatives from dozens of Federation worlds. Some looked almost human, while others were wildly different. Floating gas sacks, crystalline structures that moved on waves of light. Beings made mostly of water. Junho, the head diplomat of the Federation Council, gave a warm welcome speech. He was tall and thin, with pale blue skin and large eyes, from a low-gravity world where life moved slowly and peacefully. The discovery of Earth opens new chapters of knowledge, said Junho. We welcome our human friends and look forward to sharing the wonders of the galaxy with them. The reception was going well. The humans were careful to move slowly, speak quietly, and respect the personal space of species that seemed nervous around them. Federation members were starting to relax in their presence. Then disaster struck. The reception hall featured floating platforms that displayed art pieces from various worlds. One platform near the center of the room held a massive stone sculpture from an ancient civilization. Suddenly, the anti-gravity unit on this platform sparked and failed. The massive sculpture, weighing over a ton, began to fall directly toward a group of smaller alien dignitaries. Without hesitation, Captain Daehyun Cho rushed forward. He positioned himself under the falling sculpture and braced his body. The stone mass crashed down onto his shoulders. The room fell silent in horror. Most expected to see the human crushed flat. Instead, Daehyun stood with legs spread wide, arms up, holding the massive weight. His face turned red with effort and veins bulged in his neck. Help. Move them. Out of the way, he gasped. 2 Federation security officers recovered from their shock and quickly ushered the vulnerable dignitaries to safety. Others adjusted the platform's backup anti-gravity system. When the sculpture was finally lifted off him, Daehyun collapsed to his knees, breathing hard. Dr. Hana rushed to his side. Are you hurt? She asked, checking him quickly. Just bruised, he said, rolling his shoulder with a wince. Nothing broken, I think. The Federation medical team insisted on taking him to their hospital for examination. They were shocked to find that despite the enormous weight that had fallen on him, Daehyun had suffered only minor injuries, some bruising and strained muscles, no broken bones, no internal damage. Remarkable, said the doctor, studying the scan results. Your bone density is incredible by our standards. And your muscle fiber structure, it's like natural body armor. Word of the incident spread quickly through the Federation capital. By morning, everyone was talking about the super-strong human, who had saved lives by holding up a stone that would have crushed most Federation species instantly. Tae-jin visited Dae-hyun in the medical center. "How are you feeling?" "Sore, but I'll live," said Dae-hyun with a small smile. "Did I cause a diplomatic problem?" "Quite the opposite," replied Tae-jin. "You're a hero. But you've also confirmed what many suspected. Humans have physical capabilities that are concerning to some." "I just reacted," said Dae-hyun. "Anyone would have done the same." "That's just it," said Tae-jin. "Most species couldn't have done what you did. It's not that you're exceptionally strong for a human. It's that humans evolved on a high-gravity world with conditions that forced you to develop stronger bodies than most sentient species." Later, that day, the Federation Council met in private session. The recording of Dae-hyun's feat was shown again. "This is what concerns me," said Soo-min, the military advisor. "If one human can demonstrate such strength in our gravity, imagine what their military forces could do." "He saved lives," argued Junho. "That strength was used for protection, not aggression." "This time," replied Soo-min. "But we must be cautious. I recommend we learn more about Earth's military capabilities before proceeding further with diplomatic relations." Unknown to the Earth delegation or Commander Tae-jin, Admiral Ji-ho was already gathering intelligence on human military technology, population centers, and defensive systems. As head of a secretive faction within the Federation, he believed that any species from a death world posed a potential threat to galactic stability. "Watch them closely," he ordered his agents, especially the captain. "I want to know exactly what these humans are capable of and how dangerous they might become." 3 days after the reception incident, Federation Dr. Yoonji stood before the emergency council meeting with a worried look on her face. "We have a problem," she said. "Several delegates who had close contact with the humans have fallen ill." The council chamber buzzed with concerned voices. Junho raised his hand for silence. "What kind of illness, doctor?" he asked. "It appears to be a respiratory infection," said Yoonji. "The symptoms include fever, coughing, and difficulty breathing. 7 delegates are now in the medical center. All of them were at the reception and shook hands with the Earth visitors. Are you saying the humans brought some disease with them?" asked Soo-min, the military advisor. "Is it an attack?" "No," said Yoonji quickly. "I believe it's an accident. The humans themselves show no signs of illness. They are probably carriers of microbes that are harmless to them, but dangerous to us." Commander Tae-jin, who attended the meeting as the expedition leader, nodded in agreement. "This matches what we learned on Earth. Their world is filled with microscopic life, bacteria, viruses, fungi. Humans live with these organisms every day. Their bodies are used to fighting them off. And now these Earth microbes are loose in our capital," said Soo-min grimly. "We've isolated the affected delegates," said Yoonji, "and we've developed a treatment. That seems to help. But we need to address the larger issue." Junho looked troubled. "We should inform the human delegation immediately." Dr. Hana Kim was horrified when Commander Tae-jin told her the news. "We never meant to bring harmful microbes," she said. "We went through decontamination procedures before leaving Earth." "Your standard procedures weren't designed for interspecies contact," explained Tae-jin. "The microbes that live harmlessly on your skin and in your breath can be deadly to other species." The human delegation was immediately placed in quarantine. Federation medical teams in protective gear took samples from their skin, breath, and clothes. "I count over 200 different bacterial species just from your left hand," said Dr. Yoonji, looking at her scanner with amazement. "And your gut contains trillions of microorganisms. Your body is a walking ecosystem." "We've always lived this way," said Hana. "Our bodies evolved alongside these microbes. Many of them actually help us digest food or fight off harmful infections." "That's what makes this so difficult," said Yoonji. "We can't simply eliminate all microbes from your bodies. You need them to survive." A Federation medical ship arrived the next day with specialists in xenobiology. The council chamber was converted into a secure meeting room. where the humans could participate via video link from their quarantine suite. "We have three options," said Junho, addressing both the council and the human delegation. "First, we can end all physical contact between humans and other species. This would mean the Earth delegation must return home immediately." Dr. Hana looked disappointed but nodded in understanding. "Second," continued Junho, "we can develop new decontamination protocols and protective measures that would allow limited contact under controlled conditions." "And the third option?" asked Captain Daehyun. "We learn from you," said Junho. "Your world has given your species incredible immune defenses and medical knowledge. Perhaps there is much we can gain from studying Earth's biological sciences." The A Council argued for hours. Some members demanded the humans leave immediately. They feared that Earth microbes could cause plagues across the galaxy. Others saw the potential benefits of learning from a species that had mastered surviving in such a hostile environment. Sumin spoke directly to the human delegation. "How do you manage disease on your own world?" "We've fought countless epidemics throughout our history," explained Hana. "Over time, we developed vaccines, antibiotics, antivirals, and other treatments. Our medical technology advanced because it had to. Our world is filled with organisms that can cause disease." "And your bodies fight off infections naturally?" asked Yunji with interest. "Yes," said Hana. "Our immune systems are constantly working. We have specialized cells that identify invaders, remember them, and destroy them. We call it acquired immunity. Our bodies learn from each infection." This concept amazed the Federation scientists. Most sentient species in the galaxy lived in more sterile environments. Their immune systems were simple compared to the complex defenses humans had developed. While the medical teams worked, Admiral Jiho met secretly with his inner circle. "The humans carry an arsenal of biological weapons without even trying," he said. "Imagine if they weaponized their microbes intentionally." "Should we recommend breaking off all contact?" asked one of his advisors. "No," said Jiho with a cold smile. "I want samples of these microbes. Our research division might find them useful." That night, one of Jiho's agents broke into the medical lab and stole samples of human bacteria. The theft was discovered the next morning. "Someone took vials of human skin bacteria," Yunji reported to Taijin. "This is extremely dangerous. In the wrong hands, these microbes could be cultured and spread." Taijin immediately suspected foul play. He contacted Mina, an intelligence analyst he trusted. "I need to know who would steal human microbe samples and why," he told her. "I'll look into it," promised Mina. "But be careful. If someone is stealing biological samples, they may have dangerous plans." Meanwhile, Dr. Hana worked tirelessly with the Federation medical team. She shared Earth's knowledge of vaccines, antibiotics, and immune system function. The Federation scientists were amazed by human medical technology. "Your entire medical science is built around fighting disease," said Yunji. "You've turned a planetary weakness into a strength." "We had no choice," said Hana. "Earth has always been trying to kill us. Microbes, predators, natural disasters. We had to learn to survive them all." After a week of intense work, the Federation medical team had good news. All the infected delegates had recovered, and they had developed a protocol that would allow humans to interact with other species safely. "It involves special filters in your quarters and meeting rooms," explained Yunji, "and medication for Federation members who will have direct contact with you. It's not perfect, but it should prevent another outbreak." The Council voted to continue diplomatic relations with Earth. The quarantine was lifted with new safety measures in place. The Earth delegation could resume their meetings and cultural exchanges. "I think we've learned something important," Junho told the Council. "Earth's harshness has forced humans to develop remarkable medical knowledge. We can benefit from this." But not everyone was convinced. Sumin noted that the same knowledge that could heal could also be used to harm. And Admiral Jiho, with his stolen samples, was already planning how humans might be useful, or how they might need to be contained. Taijin watched these developments with growing concern. The humans had proven themselves to be physically strong and biologically complex. But their greatest danger and their greatest value might be something else entirely. their minds shaped by millions of years of survival on the most dangerous planet. 2 weeks after the quarantine ended, Federation Security Chief Q-Wan invited Captain Dae-hyun to tour the capital city's defense systems. Q-Wan was tall with gray skin and 4 eyes that could see in different directions. He had served in the Federation's protection force for over 30 years. "I'm curious about Earth's military approaches," said Q-Wan as they walked through the Security Command Center. "Perhaps we can learn from each other." "I'm happy to share what I can," replied Dae-hyun politely. Q-Wan showed him the city's impressive defenses: energy shields that could stop attacks from space, automatic systems that detected unauthorized vehicles, and sensors that monitored all movement in the capital. "This shield control room is our most secure location," said Q-Wan proudly. "It has 7 separate security layers. No unauthorized person has ever entered." Dae-hyun looked around the room carefully, studying the door mechanisms, the guard positions, and the computer terminals. "How would you improve our security?" asked Q-Wan. Dae-hyun hesitated. "Are you sure you want my honest opinion?" "Please. That's why I brought you here." "I could break in within an hour," said Dae-hyun quietly. Q-Wan's 4 eyes all focused on the human in shock. "Impossible, how?" "Your guards change shifts at the same time, creating a 5-minute window where everyone is distracted. The ventilation system runs through all 7 security layers without separate filtering, and your computer passwords are changed on a schedule that's too predictable." Q-Wan stared at Dae-hyun. "How did you notice all that so quickly?" Dae-hyun shrugged. "I just thought about how I would break in if I needed to." This conversation was recorded and soon reached the Federation Council. It created a new wave of concern about humans. "Did you hear what the human captain said?" asked Suman during an emergency meeting. He immediately looked for weaknesses. "In our defenses, this is not normal thinking for a civilized species." "What do you mean?" asked Junho. "Most sentient races in the Federation evolved as plant-eaters or omnivores with limited hunting," explained Sumin. "Our ancestors gathered food or ate simple creatures, but humans evolved from predator species. They still think like hunters." Federation psychologists were called in to study human behavior. Jin Woo, the cultural attaché from Earth, found himself answering strange questions. "Why do humans enjoy activities that simulate hunting or fighting?" asked one psychologist. "These sports and games seem focused on defeating opponents." "They're just for fun," explained Jin Woo. "We enjoy testing our skills against each other. It builds friendships and improves our abilities." "But the goal is to win, to defeat the other person or team," insisted the psychologist. "Yes, but within rules that everyone agrees to," said Jin Woo. "The competition is the point, not actually hurting anyone." This concept baffled many Federation species. Their cultures valued cooperation and harmony. The idea of friendly competition was strange to them. Even stranger was how humans seemed to use competition to build stronger bonds. Dr. Hana noticed the growing unease. During a dinner with Taijin and Minna, she brought up her concerns. "People look at us differently now," she said. "Like they're afraid of us." "The Federation has never encountered a species like yours," said Taijin. "Humans are physically stronger than expected because of Earth's gravity. Your immune systems are incredibly powerful because of Earth's microbes, and now your minds, shaped by predator ancestors, seem designed to find weaknesses and exploit them." "That's not fair," protested Hana. "We use those abilities to solve problems, not just to hunt or fight." "I know," said Taejin, "but many council members don't see it that way." Minna, who had been quietly eating, finally spoke. "I've been investigating the theft from the medical lab. I think Admiral Jiho was behind it." Taijin looked alarmed. "Are you certain?" "That's a serious accusation." "Not completely certain," admitted Minna. "But my sources say his research division has been studying human biology intensively, and he's been holding private meetings with key council members." "What does he want?" asked Hana. "I believe he sees humans as a threat to the Federation," said Minna, "and he's gathering support for some kind of action against Earth." Meanwhile, Admiral Jiho was indeed meeting with influential council members. In a private room deep in the military section of the capital, he made his case. "We've learned 3 key things about humans," he said to the small group. "First, they are physically stronger than most species because they evolved on a high-gravity world with large predators. Second, they carry microbes that could devastate our populations. And third, most concerning of all, they think like predators." "Captain, Daehyun seemed friendly when he pointed out our security flaws," said one council member. "That's the danger," replied Jiho. "Humans naturally look for weaknesses. It's how their ancestors hunted. Now they use that same thinking for everything, finding flaws in security systems, exploiting gaps in diplomatic agreements, or identifying military vulnerabilities." Jiho activated a display showing Earth's military history. Humans have fought countless wars among themselves. They've developed weapons specifically designed to kill other humans, and they've turned scientific discoveries into tools of destruction again and again. The council members looked troubled by this information. "What are you suggesting?" asked one. "Earth cannot be allowed to spread into the galaxy," said Jiho firmly. "Not with their physical advantages, their microbial weapons, and their predator minds. They would eventually dominate or destroy us all." "But they've shown no hostility," argued another council member. "The delegation has been peaceful and helpful." "For now," said Jiho. "But what happens when billions of humans begin traveling between stars? What happens when they build warships and establish colonies? Can we take that risk?" He let his words sink in before continuing. "I have a plan that would protect the Federation without leaving any evidence of our involvement. Earth is in a region with many asteroids. We could capture one and direct it toward their planet. It would appear to be a natural disaster." The room fell silent at this suggestion. "You're proposing genocide," said one council member finally. "I'm proposing survival," countered Jiho. "One primitive world against the safety of the entire galactic community." Some council members immediately rejected the idea and left the room, but others stayed to hear more details. The vote was split. Some backed Jiho's plan, while others insisted on continuing peaceful relations with Earth. "I need just a few more supporters on the council," Jiho told his closest allies afterward. "Continue to emphasize the danger humans pose, and prepare the asteroid capture mission. We must be ready to act when the moment comes." On the other side of the capital, Commander Tae-jin made a shocking discovery. While reviewing Federation security logs, he found evidence that Admiral Jiho's agents had been monitoring the human delegation since their arrival. Every conversation, every medical test, every security assessment, all had been collected and analyzed. "He's building a case against them," Tae-jin told Minna. "But why? What does he gain by opposing Earth?" "Power," said Minna simply. "Jiho has always believed the Federation is too soft, too willing to accept new species. He wants a stronger, more controlled organization, with him at the center. We need to warn the humans," said Tae-jin, "and the council. Whatever Jiho is planning, it can't be good for anyone." Commander Tae-jin Park moved quickly through the quiet hallways of the diplomatic quarter. It was late in the night cycle, but this couldn't wait until morning. He needed to warn the human delegation immediately. When he reached their quarters, he found Dr. Hana Kim still awake, reviewing Federation medical data on her tablet. "Commander, what's wrong?" she asked, seeing his worried face. "We have a serious problem," said Tae-jin. "Minna and I have discovered that Admiral Jiho is planning an attack on Earth." Hana's eyes widened. "What kind of attack?" "He plans to capture an asteroid and direct it toward your planet. It would look like a natural disaster. No one would know the Federation was responsible." Captain Daehyun, who had been sleeping in the next room, appeared in the doorway. "That would kill millions, maybe billions of people." "That's his plan," said Tae-jin grimly. "Jiho believes humans are too dangerous to be allowed into the wider galaxy. He's convinced several council members that Earth poses an existential threat to the Federation." "But we've done nothing hostile," protested Hana. "It's not what you've done," explained Tae-jin. "It's what you are. Your physical strength, your immune systems, your predator-evolved minds. All these things make humans potentially the most dangerous species the Federation has ever encountered. So we're being threatened with genocide because we evolved on a challenging planet? Asked Tae-hyun, his voice rising in anger. Essentially, yes, said Tae-jin. Ji-ho argues that humans will eventually dominate or destroy other species, even if that's not your intention. What can we do? Asked Hana. We need to convince the full council to reject Ji-ho's plan, said Tae-jin. Min-ah is gathering evidence of his secret meetings and unauthorized activities, but we also need to address the core issue, the fear of humans. How do we do that? Asked Dae-hyun. By showing them that being dangerous doesn't mean being evil, replied Tae-jin. The next morning, an emergency session of the Federation Council was called. All 27 members gathered in the Grand Chamber. The Earth delegation was invited to attend, along with key Federation officials. Junho opened the session. We have serious matters to discuss. Commander Tae-jin has brought troubling information to my attention. Admiral Ji-ho, please explain your asteroid capture project. Ji-ho stood calmly. I proposed a defensive measure to protect the Federation from a potential threat. My plan was discussed with several council members, as is my right as military advisor. Your plan involves destroying an entire planet, said Junho. That goes far beyond defensive measures. I am acting in the best interests of the Federation, insisted Ji-ho. The humans represent a unique danger. They are physically stronger than most species because of their high-gravity world. They carry microbes that could cause pandemics throughout the galaxy, and their minds are shaped by predator instincts. They naturally seek weaknesses and advantages. He turned to face the council. I ask you to consider the future. When humans build starships and spread across the galaxy, how long before they dominate all other species? How long before they control the Federation itself? The council chamber filled with nervous whispers. Many members looked at the humans with new concern. With respect, said Dr. Hana Kim, standing up, I would like to address these accusations. Junho nodded. The council will hear you. Hana walked to the center of the chamber. She took a deep breath and looked at the assembled aliens. Admiral, Ji-ho is right about one thing, she began. Humans are dangerous. We evolved on a planet that tried to kill us every day. We survived ice ages, predators, diseases, and natural disasters. We learned to be strong, to heal quickly, to think strategically. She paused, making eye contact with different council members. But being dangerous is not the same as being evil. Yes, we have the capacity to cause harm, but we also have the capacity for great good. The same strength that makes us dangerous also allows us to protect others. The same immune systems that carry microbes also let us develop medicines that can save lives. The same minds that spot weaknesses can also solve problems that seem impossible. She gestured to Captain Dae-hyun. When the sculpture was falling, Captain Dae-hyun didn't use his strength to hurt anyone. He used it to save lives, risking his own safety. That's who we are. Hana walked closer to the council table. Earth has shaped us to be survivors. We're tough because we had to be. We're adaptable because those who couldn't adapt died. We're strategic thinkers because that kept us alive. But these traits don't make us conquerors or destroyers. They make us protectors. Pretty words, said Ji-ho, but human history is filled with war and conquest. You fight among yourselves constantly. Yes, we have fought wars, admitted Hana. We've made terrible mistakes. But we've also created art, music, literature. We've developed medicines, technologies, and sciences. We've protected endangered species and worked to heal our planet's wounds. We're not perfect, but we're not the monsters you describe. The council chamber was silent as Hana continued. Admiral Ji-ho fears what humans might become, but I ask you to see what we actually are. We came here in peace, we shared our knowledge, we offered friendship. Judge us by our actions, not by your fears. She looked directly at Ji-ho. And consider this. If humans were truly the ruthless predators you describe, what would we do when threatened? Would we ask for understanding or would we strike first? Sumin, the military advisor who had been skeptical of humans, spoke up. Dr. Kim makes a valid point. If humans were planning to dominate the Federation, they would not be here talking to us. They would be preparing for war. Junho nodded. And now we have evidence that Admiral Jiho has been working against Council directives. He stole biological samples from the medical lab. He planned an attack on Earth without full Council approval. These actions violate our most sacred principles. I acted to protect the Federation, insisted Jiho. By becoming the very threat you claim to fight against, replied Junho. Minna presented the evidence she and Tae-jin had gathered, records of secret meetings, unauthorized research, and the asteroid capture plan. The council members looked increasingly troubled. I call for a vote, said Junho. Should we continue peaceful relations with Earth or accept Admiral Jiho's proposal? The vote was not close. 23 council members voted to maintain peace with Earth. Only 4 supported Jiho's plan. The Admiral was immediately placed under arrest, pending a full investigation. After the session, Junho met privately with the Earth delegation and Commander Tae-jin. On behalf of the Federation, I apologize for what almost happened, said Junho. Jiho let fear cloud his judgment. What happens now? Asked Hana. We continue as we began, in peace and friendship, said Junho. But, with a better understanding of each other. The Council has created a new classification for Earth, Death World. This recognizes the unique conditions that shaped human evolution. That sounds rather negative, said Daehyun with a small smile. Perhaps, agreed Junho. But we've also created a new diplomatic designation for humanity, Guardian Species. We recognize that the very traits that make humans dangerous also make you uniquely suited to protect more vulnerable species. Guardian Species, repeated Hana. I like that. The Federation-Earth alliance will be stronger because of our differences, not despite them, said Junho. Your strength, resilience, and strategic thinking are assets we value, when directed toward protection rather than conquest. 1 month later, the Federation and Earth formally established a joint defense force. Captain Daehyun and Commander Tae-jin were appointed as its first leaders. The force would combine human tactical thinking with Federation technology to protect peaceful worlds from those who might threaten them. On the observation deck of the Federation headquarters, Hana stood looking at the stars. Tae-jin joined her. What are you thinking about? He asked. Earth, she replied. How strange that the very planet that tried to kill us for millions of years made us who we are. The gravity that crushed us made us strong. The diseases that infected us made us resilient. The predators that hunted us made us clever. Earth made you dangerous, said Tae-jin, but you chose to be good. That's what matters most. Hana smiled. Maybe that's the true answer to what makes Earth the most dangerous planet in the galaxy. Not just the physical conditions, but what those conditions created. A species that knows danger intimately and chooses protection over destruction. Guardian species, said Tae-jin thoughtfully. It suits you. Together they looked out at the stars, where the dangerous children of Earth would soon take their place as protectors of the galaxy, the end.